It tastes nice, and so we love all those fatty things that are full of all flavours and the textures and the sweetnesses and all of those things, and you know, the salt to make it, all those sorts of things. Okay? And we only ever think of that. We do not think, now what's the long-term consequences of this food? Pardon? Yeah, but we don't think like that. Because our ability to think long-term is actually hijacked by the enculturating system, the enculturating society. You know, it's the same as money. You know, we're not taught to think. If you know, one car payment of $400 or $500, if you invested that effectively over 40 years, that'd be $5 million. So we don't think about this one car payment or this one credit card thing is actually costing me $5 million. So we're not taught to think in long term. So we're not taught to think in long terms health-wise, we're not taught to think in long terms relationship-wise, we're not taught to think long term financial-wise, and all that sort of stuff. So that's another part of the friction thinking. Friction thinking goes to the immediate, and the immediate goes to all the reasons why I can't do something. And so that goes to the immediate will always throw up resistance. Okay? And so, when you're invited on a journey of change, the first thing that you won't do is you'll resist getting clear, because it's too confusing, it's too hard. So that's...
Can I just clarify something? So you're saying that we're hardwired for not being able to think in long term. Is that what you mean?
Yes, it doesn't mean to say that we can't do it, because we can. We can clearly use that part of our brain. But that part of our brain is reflective. This part is reflective. Reflexive. And so, we've got evolution favouring that brain. We've got enculturation favouring that brain. We've got our financial education favouring that brain. Our friction thinking favours that brain. And then we have number 5, which is habits, beliefs, behaviours, etc., that favour that brain. So it's not that we can't, but in order to get from there to there, we actually have to use that part of our brain, which is neocortex. But that requires a lot of training. It requires a lot of awareness building. And so, back to the question, how do you actually expand awareness? Well, exactly what I've been doing now. So one is you have to have an educational process that tells you what you don't know. Because unless you're learning what you don't know, you're always working off familiar experiences and familiar habits and familiar beliefs and familiar patterns. And that will only ever get you to where you got to now. And all you've got to do is say, am I really, really happy being here? And do I want to continue this for the next 3 and 5 years? And unless you get access to that educational process that supports the movement from there to where you say you want to be. And that's a long and involved process, which is in fact the fast way. Okay? But when people are invited...